Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a toy store. This is the amount of space required to make your toy store. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build, but this single double chest doesn't cut it, as we also have this chest which is almost full as well. Begin by placing a row of 9 brick wall extending up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then extend the bottom brick wall to the right by 7 using red terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend one row backwards. Place a light blue glass extending right. Then a light blue glass pane. Leave a gap of 1 and then place a blue glass. Then place a red terracotta on the end. Extend forwards. Place a brick wall to the right. Then extend backwards by 13 using blue concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Place a brick wall on the end, and then extend across the back of the build by 7 using blue concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Place a 2x2 square of light blue glass pane on top of those last 2 blocks with red terracotta above them. Then continue extending the blue concrete to the right, line up with the red terracotta on the front of the build, stick a brick wall on the end, and then join forwards using a row of blue concrete. Like this. We then want to place a red terracotta on top of the row of 8 brick wall that we placed earlier, extend the red terracotta all the way over to the right. The goal is that it wants to line up with the brick wall that we have below, so you can either join it down or connect up. Then extend the red terracotta backwards and do the same with the back corner wall, so I like to extend up and then just join across. And then we're going to extend across the back of the build, and then we're going to extend this last brick wall upwards and line it up, extend the red terracotta on top, and then all the way to the front like this. Perfect. So next up, there is a bay window on the front of the build. The bay window starts all the way with the first red terracotta that we placed, extend to the right by 1 and place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 red terracotta extending to the right. Place 2 rows of light blue glass pane on top of the extended terracotta, with a white wall on the left and right sides and blue wall in between. Place string in front of the top row of the window, with then light blue glass behind the left and right sides. Then we are going to place blue concrete all the way around the window frame, like this, and extending backwards next to the doorway, like so. Then we'll place an extra layer of blue concrete on top of this, and then a row of red terracotta above the window, so it just sits one row above like this. Then we want to add blue concrete, that's blue wall, we want to add blue concrete all the way around the top of the red terracotta, and we can pretty much just fill this entire left side of the store in using blue concrete, like so. Then we want to place a row of 4 red terracotta extending right of this row of red terracotta that we have. So if we extend through this blue concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will line up with the doorway. We can then place blue concrete extending up from the red terracottas of the doorway on the right side here, and then just connect together across the top like so. Then extend the red terracotta forwards like this, and that will give us the front of the toy store pretty much. We do have some more details to add, and we should probably do a little bit of that now. So we're going to extend the 2 blue glass up here, each by 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. We'll extend the glass pane up as well. Then we want to place blue blue glass block across the top of the doorway, connecting diagonally like this. And then we are going to place blue concrete around this, and we'll extend it forwards like this so that the doorway sinks back into the build. Then a birch fence in front of the center glass pane like this, and that's looking pretty good. Next up, we are going to fill the remaining sides of the toy store in using blue concrete, so just the left, right and back sides, and then we can talk about the roof. With that complete, we can move on to the roof. So if we start by adding a layer of oak slabs across the top of the build and have them overhang the sides by one row, then we simply want to extend those slabs upwards and backwards like this until they are roughly at the halfway point. And then do the same thing on the back of the build. And if we extend up and in enough like this, they will eventually hit a point where we have a nice peaked triangular roof. And we can just extend these end oak slabs all the way across to the opposite side, and we can do the exact same thing. So once we have the outline of the roof, I would then recommend filling underneath it in using red terracotta, just like this. And we'll come over to the opposite side here, add the red terracotta. Then all we have to do is join the sides of the roof together, and I would recommend using oak planks for some of this. Every other layer of the roof is made out of oak planks, and if you place this before the slabs, it's just a little bit easier. Now, with the centre of the roof filled in, we do have to add a chimney. The way that we do this is we come to the front left-hand corner of the roof, we count inwards to the right, 1, 2, and then up, 1, 2, 3. Or maybe this block here will count up by 2, and all we want to do is place, actually, that third block probably is perfect. I don't want a plank part, I want a slab part, so in 2, up 3, and we want to place 2 polished blackstone blocks on top of each other, with then a polished blackstone wall and then a grey candle on top, and that is absolutely perfect. Next, we are just going to add the carpets on top of the string that we placed earlier, a white carpet on each end with some blue carpet in between. Next, we are going to add a 2D train above the entrance, so this actually sits on top of the terracotta ledge. If we start from the right side and place a red concrete, 2 yellow cotter to the left, and a warp stairs to the left of this. Add another red concrete on top of our red concrete, with then a crimson slab on top. An item frame in front of that concrete with a light blue glass pane in the item frame. Oak trapdoor in front of the first red concrete, and then a trapdoor in front of the second yellow terracotta. We then want to place a stone button in between them and a polished black stone button on top. Then all we want to do is place a polished black stone wall on top of the end yellow terracotta with a cobweb on top, and there we have a nice little drain. Next, we want to make the sign above the window, so this requires a loom. Throw it down, open it up, place a blue banner in there with some yellow dye, and we literally just want to write out the word toys. So that's a horizontal row of yellow across the top, vertical straight through the middle. We then want to make the letter O, so that's a vertical row of yellow on the left, on the right, and then a horizontal row of yellow on the top and the bottom. O. Next, we want to make a Y, so this is a diagonal row of yellow, top left corner to bottom right corner. Put yellow dye in there, or rather blue dye, and make the lower half of the banner blue. Then add yellow dye to the loom again and place the opposite diagonal pattern. Next, we want to make S. This is a horizontal row of yellow on the top, on the bottom, and a diagonal row, top left corner to bottom right corner. And then all we have to do is place this directly above the red terracotta ledge that we have on this left side. So T-O-Y-S. That is perfect. Next, we are going to add a couple of street lights in front of the toy store. So if we come to the corner of the toy store and move outwards diagonally 1, 2, and then place 1, 2, 3 polished black stone wall on top of each other with a beacon on top. And then if we just find somewhere to crouch, I was kind of hoping to be able to do it from on top of this carpet here, crouch and put a black stone slab on top, it kind of just looks like a street light. And we want to do the same on the opposite side, so move outwards diagonally, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, beacon on top, and then this is ever so slightly trickier, but I think that we can make it work. And there we go, that's perfect. So we have a couple of accentuating lights. Then we are going to have it's kind of just like meant to look like a gumball machine, or just like, you know, a machine that you put money in and you get something out of it, maybe a capsule machine or something. Well, it is directly in front of the brick wall here. We place an orange concrete, tripwire hook in front, glass on top, and then if we stick an orange carpet on top of that, then we have something that, you know, looks like it could be exactly what I just described. Then next to this, we want to have kind of just like a balloon kind of just floating in the wind. So this is an end rod with a lime glazed terracotta on top of it, and it's just kind of next to this. And we want to have another one of these. So this one, it's kind of up to you which position you put this in. Maybe one row in front of the street light here, and maybe even one row above it, maybe lining up with the terracotta of this window. We want to have just like another balloon, so just some floating balloons kind of like around the place. I think that that looks pretty good. We also want to make a pavement, so the pavement comes all the way back to where the gumball machine is, or the capsule machine. Again, it really does kind of like just depend on your own imagination what you want it to be. And we are going to integrate the pavement just underneath this door here. So the first 4 rows of the grid are essentially going to be pavement, which I am using smooth stone for, but you are more than welcome to change it. But all of my pathways in Stream City are made out of smooth stone, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, so. There we go. Perfect. So next we are going to add a couple of rows of terracotta on the remaining outer part of the grid. So all the way on this white concrete that we have here, I'm just going to place a couple of rows of terracotta on top of each other, and this is just going to be a wall. This isn't necessarily necessary depending upon where you're placing this in your city. This is just to kind of like give this a bit more shape, but I'll leave that up to you. Well, once you've done that, we are going to add a bush to the right side of the toy store so that you can't really walk by here, or at least that's the idea. So it's going to be a couple of rows like this, and then we'll just like extend the middle part out. And then if we come over to this opposite side here, we'll have something a little bit different. Maybe we'll have a tree. And once again, the idea here is that you're not really exploring back around the toy store. I mean, not that there's anything special around there, but that's kind of like the point. There's no point in exploring it because there's really nothing there. And then I would recommend making, at the very least, the visible part of the grass lime terracotta. Maybe you don't have to do the whole thing because once again, people aren't or shouldn't be able to get behind here, but I mean, I guess we'll stop being lazy. We'll make all of the grass back here lime terracotta. Now, the last thing that I want to add out here is just kind of like one of those signs, that standing signs. So we want to have a black concrete kind of just suspended one row off the ground and probably just one row away from the left side of the entrance here. A spruce fence gate underneath it with spruce trapdoors flipped up along the side of it. And then just one on the top here. Item frame in front of the black concrete with a creeper head inside of that. And that's pretty much the entire outside of the toy store. So moving along to the inside of the build, we have a lot of work to do. Well, step one, we are going to refloor the entire build. So I'm going to rip up all of this grass, replace it using oak planks, and later on we'll also be adding some terracotta into it, but that'll be easier to do once we have some of the other features of the build. And now that we've added all of the oak planks, we are also going to add the ceiling. So the ceiling is basically made out of pretty much just purely red terracotta, and it stems from the red terracotta that we already had built in at the front of the build. So we'll just extend this all the way backwards, and that's all there is to it. There we go. So when it comes to the right side of the build, we actually want to build some shelves into the actual walls. So we're just going to start off by placing an additional layer of red terracotta and blue concrete around this window. We're not going to fill the base of this in, but what we are going to do is knock out this layer of terracotta and just replace it with bookshelves. Then, in this wall here, literally starting right from this, we want to place a row of 3, 1, 2, 3 bookshelf. Leave a gap of 1 and then place 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave a gap of 1 and then place 3 bookshelf. Make these 3 rows high like this, and then we want to fill in between them in with a mixture of red terracotta at the bottom and blue concrete on the top. Then we are going to add a layer of blue concrete across the top of this, just like so. And then we're just going to use a bunch of different shulker boxes to just look like colourful boxes for stuff above these shelves. And I do mean the word stuff quite like, it can kind of like be anything, like use your imagination, whatever it is you would like to be in those boxes, that's what's in there. And then we're just going to place some item frames in front of the central row of the bookshelves, and we'll fill those in a little bit later. Next, we are going to add the till area and the desk. So, starting from the front right hand corner of the build, we want to locate the fourth blue concrete in. So this will be the first, second, third, and fourth. Leave a gap of 1 and then place 1, 2 red terracottas extending towards the center. Extend left by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back by 1. Place a bookshelf behind this and extend to the right, 1, 2, 3. Add 2 more layers of bookshelf on top of this, and then add all of the different tables on top of this. Again, these can be all different boxes for whatever your imagination might think they are. Then on the actual counter space here, we'll have a lantern on the corner, cash register, stone pressure plate next to it, item frame next to that, and then we'll put a bunch of flower pots on the remaining part and we'll fill them in with flowers. And that's a pretty nice looking desk. Next, we want to come to the entrance. On the right side here, we have a terracotta connecting to the glass at the bottom. Leave a gap of 2 from it, extending towards the back of the store. And on this third block, place a white wall, followed by a red, then a white. Leave a gap of 2, and then place a light blue, yellow, light blue. Behind these blocks, place the opposites. So behind the red, place white, behind the light blue, place yellow, and you guys get the idea. Then we are going to place spruce trapdoors. I'm actually not sure whether I even want spruce trapdoors around this, or whether I kind of just want to leave this alone. I'll kind of let you guys be the judge. It's nice and colourful, actually. Well, on these, I'm going to stack a bunch of the tables again, because when I say use your imagination to think what they are, I mean they could be games boxes, they could be like part of they could be like model kits, and if you have a look at them, it could be like an actual like bow and arrow set. Your imagination you got to use a little bit of a little bit of your imagination, but these can be all sorts of different things that would belong in a toy store. And we can stick a couple of item frames on here and then come over to this side, and we are going to stick a bunch of the heads on this part. So this is, of course, just like a bunch of plushies or whatever it is you would like this to be. We're going to add a bit more light in here, so the light is going to be placed, I'm going to place lanterns above the center of these 2 displays, so like where the zombie head and the skeleton skull is, and where this item frame is and the fleshing table is. And then I want to add some blue glazed terracotta to the floor. So this is basically going to be placed in between where these displays are and this back wall, and it's just going to sit in the middle. So here and here. And we also want to have just a patch in front of the actual counter space here as well, and I think that that's pretty good. I did also consider adding some shroom light into the actual ceiling, so this kind of clips in between the 2 sets of bookshelves that we have at the back of the build, so it's kind of interesting to have it like this, and we can just build it 1 row into the ceiling, and then that would probably be enough light. I like shroom light because it's just such an incredibly warm light block. I just really like it, and yeah, I think that's probably enough light in here. So just as you walk in where we have this entrance, we're going to make like a little popcorn machine. I know this seems like a weird choice, but I was actually recently Christmas shopping at Smith's Toy Store and I saw one of these and I realised how lucky kids have it these days. I never had like a popcorn machine. Anyway, the point is that we want to place a red concrete here against this wall with an oak trap door flipped down in front of it, glass on top, carpet on top of that, and then a flipped open oak fence gate next to this. And again, this could also be a little bit ambiguous, so if you don't put anything in that glass, I mean, it could kind of be anything. And then all the way over here on the opposite side of the build, we're going to place a red concrete in this corner with a cauldron in front of it, red concrete to the right of this, creeper head in the corner, Then we're going to place glass around this. We want to have 2 rows of glass with then red concrete all the way around this. And I'm just realizing that this is also another good place to hide a little bit of light. Nice little bit of cheeky bit of light. And we also have to have an open fence gate above this. I like to use birch. And if we place a glass block there, then if we have a crimson, there we go, if we place a crimson sign in front of the cauldron and then like a stone button to the right of this, we have a little arcade game looking thing, which is again something that I actually saw at Smith's. And by arcade game I mean claw machine, which is technically sort of an arcade game. They are one and the same, right? I'm going to fill these item frames that I forgot to fill in earlier with like a firework and a fishing rod, because why not? Then, along this back wall in these item frames, I'm going to place a bunch of boats over here. These could be like motorized boats or something fun. And then all the way over here, we have some swords in these item frames. And last but not least, the different horse armors kind of do just look like toys. So I think that that's a match made in heaven for these last 4 slots. And that's it. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.